You told this team to leave no doubt. How did they do that with this dominant performance today?
Really aggressive plan, not holding back anything. We wanted our kids to play without fear. And all year I told them, I said, we ain't getting hunted, guys. We're doing the hunting, and hunting season's almost over. We only got one more chance to hunt, and we hunted tonight.
Back-to-back national championships, the first time that's ever happened in the college football playoff era. Why could this team get that done?
Because they had a will to work. They didn't listen to what everybody said about them, and everybody doubted them to start the year, and that chip on the shoulder was just big enough to create an edge for our team, because every time they got doubted, they came out fighting.
Speaking of chips on shoulders, Stetson Bennett's career here has been full of obstacles and triumph. What has he meant to you? What has he meant to this program?
Well, he's meant a lot to me personally because of what he's gone through and what he's put up with from the outside noise. But to this university, for a kid that was told he wasn't good enough, to come back and win 2 national championships, and he's really phenomenal. I mean, he did some things tonight that are just electric, and he's one of a kind. He's a special football player, and he should get many opportunities to keep playing.
Coach, how has Georgia become one of the most benchmark programs in college football?
Just hard work. I mean, we don't run from work. Our kids don't run from work. We go out there on Tuesday, Wednesday, and we hit the other day, and all the kids are like, Coach, we got to keep doing it. It's who we are. And as long as you don't have entitlement in your program, you got a shot. And right now we don't have that. It's creeping. Games like tonight make it that way, but we got a lot of humble guys.
All right, congratulations on the win, Coach.
Thank you so much to Georgia fans that came out. Awesome. Go Dogs.
So last season, Kirby Smart became the first head coach to win a national title with his alma mater since Philip Fulmer did so at Tennessee in 1998. Now Smart is one of 5 head coaches to win multiple national championships with his alma mater in the AP poll era. All 5 went back-to-back at some point in their careers, if you see some of those greats, including the great Bear Bryant. So Kirby Smart getting from Bill Hancock the national championship trophy. Jesse, I'll start with you. What has Kirby Smart built in Athens?
Well, he's on the verge and the cusp of building a dynasty, but he's created a standard of excellence that I think at this point now, having won back-to-back championships, puts them in the same category as an Alabama, where now every single year you have to take this team seriously and say, they could win a national championship. They're always going to have talent. They're always going to have great coaching, regardless of how many people they lose to the National Football League. And he instills in his own team to police themselves and to push themselves. Remember, this team lost 15 draft picks to the NFL last year, but in many ways, it might have been easier in some respects to fight complacency because there were a lot of very heralded young players that were anxious to come out and prove that they could win another national championship themselves. They have a quarterback in Stetson Bennett that's been through it all, that even though he was a Heisman finalist, wasn't going to forget the hard work that got them here. So when you have leadership like that in your locker room and leadership coming from your head coach, you're building something very special, and that's obvious now.
I'm always impressed when coaches can coach from the top. When you're the best team, when you're to get your team back up the next season, because you've played longer than any other team in the country. Now they celebrate this moment, but then they have to get focused, get back into it. And Georgia did that as well as anyone, opening up their season against Oregon. And they made a statement early. Then we've seen them go through the season, and there were some couple down weeks. Missouri, Kent didn't look great. They get into the playoff, and it felt like it was their season. I mean, there was no doubt that this team was the best team in the country from start to finish, and I think that's just a terrific coaching job of getting these young men up and ready to play every single week from the top.
And I'll tell you what Kirby Smart did that LSU failed to do. In 2019, when Joe Burrow and LSU were one of the greatest teams ever, they failed to capitalize on that moment. In the BCS College Football Playoff era, only 3 starting quarterbacks have led their teams to back-to-back national titles. USC's Matt Leinart, Alabama's A.J. McCarron a decade ago, and now the former walk-on Stetson Bennett, who's caught up with Holly Rowe following the win.
You took a moment as this game is winding down to look up and soak in this moment. What is washing over you right now, Stetson?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Champion to the whole damn world, man. I don't know. Just trying to see everybody for the last time, hug everybody. trying not to cry, you know. I don't know.
Early in this game, you ran it in. You used your legs twice. How did you set the tone for your team in this moment?
We knew with their defense that my legs were going to be a part of it. Monk made, you know, 2 great calls, and I just trusted it and went out there, and they made blocks. And, I mean, I didn't get touched on both ones, so, you know, I don't know.
Coaches talked to you when you walked off the field. There was a moment that the entire crowd is on their feet cheering for you, giving you a curtain call in a national championship game. That doesn't happen often. What did you think when that happened?
Yeah, it does not happen. It does not happen with Coach Smart, I can tell you that. I mean, that was special. I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
He pulled you in and whispered something in your ear. What did he tell you?
He just told me he loved me, and just the journey that we've been through together. You know, and that dude right there, Rich, golly. I mean, just seeing everybody who was here from when I got here, and they're still here, and we're back to back. I don't know, just.
For a kid from Blackshear, Georgia, what do you say to your hometown, all the people there who have believed in you from the very beginning?
Well, it's God's country. It's the greatest place on earth, and it made me who I was today. That Blackshear, Nahun, I give Nahun a shout out too. I love them. They made me who I was, and I can't wait to get back there.
6 TDs responsible for Stetson Bennett, tying Joe Burrow for most in the BCS CFP National Championship game. As Stetson Bennett hits a Pappy Van Winkle after the semifinal. I bet he's going to dial that up again tonight. He's got the cigar.
Pappy 10.
Maybe Pappy 15. Maybe Pappy 15. As Stetson Bennett now has won 2 national championships. And we talked about it coming in to the game that TCU was the underdog.
Yeah.
That was the story. But Stetson Bennett has been an underdog his entire career, and now he's a 2-time national champion.
I think we get so consumed in terms of when we think about how we evaluate quarterbacks, right? What is greatness? What's success? Is it passing yards? Is it touchdowns? Is it size? Is it arm talent, accuracy? At the end of the day, it's winning games. And that's what Stetson Bennett's been able to do. And as good as he is physically, he's so good with his football IQ and has such a great understanding of Todd Monken in this offense. He studied the film on TCU, had tremendous recognition there on the zone read, reading the defensive tackle and taking it in himself. Here's a cover 0 look where technically he should get sacked. TCU's bringing 6. They only have 5 to block. He gets out of that. How about the field vision and the progression and anticipation, throwing guys open? I know Galloway used to love that. And then finally, putting the football in a place to allow your guys to go make a play. Accuracy and touch. It was all on display in this football game. I've always loved quarterbacks that play with the chip on their shoulder, like they have something to prove. And I think in the last 2 years, every time Stetson Bennett takes the field, it's as if he's trying to prove something to somebody, and he made yet another statement tonight.
It took this kid so long to get his credit. You know, even last season, as they were winning football games, he wasn't getting the credit he deserved. And when you talk about Georgia, it's about their defense the past 2 years. But the thing I've been so impressed with Stetson Bennett, and we showed it on the tape, was his ball location.
Yeah.
And a lot of times throwing the ball when guys are about to break and throwing the ball where only his receiver can get to it. And I think that when you watch quarterbacks play, that's the part that you miss because you always don't get the angles that they're throwing balls from. But the ability to not just read the defense, not just throw a ball, but deliver a ball in a place where his receiver is the only one that can make a play on the ball. This one he lets get out a little further, but again, it's Brock Bowers. Just throw it up and let him make a play. This is accuracy. This is a ball thrown against really good coverage. Yeah. The difference between good quarterbacks and the great ones, the ability to put a ball somewhere against good coverage where only your receiver can get it. And Stetson Bennett has done that this season as well as any quarterback I've seen. When you watch him on tape, it jumps out at you. Wow, that was pretty good coverage, but that was a great ball.
In the BCS College Football Playoff era, only 3 starting quarterbacks have led their teams to back-to-back national titles. USC's Matt Leinart, Alabama's A.J. McCarron a decade ago, and now the former walk-on Stetson Bennett, who's caught up with Holly Rowe following the win.
You took a moment as this game is winding down to look up and soak in this moment. What is washing over you right now, Stetson?
I don't know. I don't know, man. champion to the whole damn world, man. I don't know. Just trying to see everybody for the last time, you know, hug everybody,